reshuffle's been playing out over the weekend, and it seems to me that far from settling down about it, everyone's sort of getting more and more agitated, particularly with regard to Owen Paterson, who our readers will see as a great loss.
Yeah, I think this was a classic. The weekend after the reshuffle before. I think what's interesting about Owen Paterson is that if you read his piece in the Sunday Telegraph complaining, he wasn't saying I was sacked for being a right-wing Eurosceptic.
Yeah.
He was saying that he was attacked for taking on the green blob.
Yes.
And that was a deliberate echo of Michael Gove's
Yes,
language about the education establishment. And I think this is one of the most dangerous and damaging stories for Cameron that is running, which is that anyone in the government who took on vested interests, ultimately Cameron was not prepared to back them up. So Owen Paterson got sacked, Michael Gove got demoted, Nick Bowles, who was the planning minister, yes, he got promoted, but his successor in Brandon Lewis is not someone who wants to kind of continue with the same reformist zeal that Bowles had. So I think you see a kind of, this isn't about right or left. This is actually about the ministers who felt they were doing something, feeling that Number 10, having encouraged them to set off on that path, has then pulled the rug from under them.
And I suppose Cameron would say this is all about calming down and not causing fights. But I mean, another question is, whether you can hold firm on reform without fighting. Can you just stand still?
Yeah, I think the other danger, as Charles said in the magazine this week, is that every vested interest, every kind of lobby group will now shout that bit louder against, in inverted commas, Tory cuts or the Tory agenda, because they will have a sense that if they can make enough noise, cause enough trouble, get enough front pages, then the government will think again.
In terms of the new Secretary of State for Education, I mean, the idea is she said she stands by Gove's reforms. Why would she then, as a sort of first move, dismiss both his special advisors?
I think there's an element here. I think it is fair enough that Michael Gove has had a proper team of special advisors, but they have been incredibly personally loyal to him. I can understand why someone coming in would want a new team whose loyalties were to them. I think that the big challenge for her is whether she sticks with the Gove agenda. I think there is an acceptance that we're not going to see the same pace of reform that there was before, but the question is whether the line is held essentially. And I think what we're going to see her do is her tactic from those who've spoken to her seems to be to concentrate on areas where Michael Gove wasn't perceived to be as interested. So I think we'll hear a lot from her about vocational education, early years, while kind of almost parking the other reforms on the other side, on academies and free schools. Right.
What do you think, Douglas, about the reshuffle and the way it's...
Well, I suppose the interesting thing that happened over the weekend was the beginning of an attempted alignment or pretended alignment of the so-called right. I mean, the Paterson story, the claim that there are now a few disgruntled, quite powerful former ministers of the right who could genuinely cause trouble now for the Prime Minister. I don't know. We'll see. Counting against that are the results of polls allegedly saying that there'd been a bit of an uplift in Tory prospects, and if Cameron believes that, then he'll believe anything.